2009, Old Glory Honor Flight, based in Appleton, has taken more than 5,500 local veterans free of charge to see their memorials in Washington, D.C. But right now, Old Glory's wait list is as low as it's been in over a decade, at right around 9 months. And so for the first time, the organization is holding a recruitment event to get more veterans on the wait list and ensure they receive the honor that comes with an Old Glory Honor Flight. And joining us now is Diane McDonald, Executive Director of Old Glory Honor Flight. Great to see you as always, Diane. So tell us about this upcoming recruitment event, kind of the who, what, where, when, and who's eligible.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for having us today. I really appreciate it. Our first ever recruitment event is going to be on Saturday, May 20th from 9 to 11 at Bellmark Incorporated.
In De Pere.
In De Pere. They've been a partner of ours for a decade, and so we're so happy that we're going to have a recruitment event there. We would love to see our veterans come out in droves. We want to get those veterans who haven't gone on an honor flight yet, get them signed up so they can have their very own tour of honor.
And when you first started back in 2009, I know World War II veterans were really the focus. Then it kind of transitioned into the Korean War vets. Now we're at that Vietnam War era. Have you sensed, in thinking of this wait list, maybe some hesitation on some of their parts or their families' parts to get these guys to sign up?
Absolutely, and I think there's a number of reasons for that. Number one, our veterans are humble.
Yeah.
So for many of them, they just don't think they deserve it, that it's maybe more important for others to go ahead of them. But honestly, now is their time. Now is their time to enjoy it, get signed up so they can have that unforgettable experience.
And it doesn't just have to be somebody that served in a war. I mean, this is all era.
Correct. So as long as the veteran served between, or I should say prior to May 7th, 1975, they're eligible. So that includes our Vietnam era veterans, our Korean War veterans, our World War II veterans, and all those veterans that served in between.
And whether they were in country or not, they served, they need to go.
They absolutely do. They didn't get to decide where they went, right? They just served their country honorably, and so for those men and women, we want to say thank you.
Absolutely. What do you say to a veteran who is maybe on the fence a little bit about signing up? I've had the privilege, obviously, to go on a number of these honor flights, and you see it so often. In the morning, I don't know if I should have done this, and by the end of the day, they are so grateful. They are in tears, a lot of them, and so emotional, and they're so happy they went.
Absolutely. So for many, again, they're just not sure, but we would say, let's get you signed up. Start talking to a veteran who went on the flight. They can tell you about their experience. We jokingly say that we'll give them their money back if they don't have a good time. I mean, these trips are free for our veterans.
Sure.
But honestly, everything we do is all about their experience, making sure that they're comfortable. We've got our medical volunteers with us. We take our guardians. We are there for the sole purpose of making sure they have a wonderful day.
Community support, I know, over the years has just been tremendous for Old Glory Honor Flight, raising literally millions of dollars. With 62 missions you've flown. I know since the pandemic, we've done some reporting that a lot of nonprofits have struggled a little bit in raising funds for whatever reason. Have you guys been impacted at all?
Well, during the pandemic, of course, everything just shut down. We were really just only focused on making sure that we continued to get the word out, honoring our veterans as best we could. But this community, you're right, has been just gangbusters on supporting our mission. We're so grateful and thankful. We always have some really wonderful fundraisers going on. We love to see people participate and get involved.
Whether it's big corporations or individual pennies raised at an I mean, it's been neat to see over the years. And not only are you, your organization, Diane, one of the most certainly successful honor flight hubs in the country, but nobody thinks outside the box like Old Glory does. I mean, the 2012 return to Pearl Harbor, or 2019 return to Vietnam for 2 weeks with the veterans. Now you're at it again, another unique mission coming up this fall. Tell us about it.
We are, so we'll be honoring another set of veterans. We call them our GWAT vets, those that served during the Global War on Terror. We're doing a special honor flight mission called the Freedom to Liberty, a mission of healing. That's going to happen this September. It's a 4-day trip. For those lucky 52 veterans that are going with us, we'll be taking them to New York to visit the 9/11 Museum, the 9/11 Memorial, the Freedom Tower, and the Statue of Liberty, all in an effort to raise more awareness for our veterans. Many of them are hurting, and this is hopefully one way that we can kind of support them and expand our mission.
Yeah, I know photographer Bill Kumbalik and I will be tagging along, honored once again, and be providing daily reports on that. So really look forward to it. I understand there's a lot of walking. My ankle getting better, so I need to keep rehabbing, right?
Absolutely, get that PT going. You're going to need it, but we're going to have a good time. We'll take care of you.
All right, sounds good. I'll be like one of the vets. Thank you, Diane, just for everything you do, honoring our veterans, the organization, just outstanding, full of integrity, and always appreciated working with you. And let's get some vets out to that recruitment event on May 20th. We have all the information on our website. Again, always a pleasure to see you.
Thank you.